Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Find Your Podcast. My name is Mark, and
This is Josh, gulping down some coffee.
we are Find Your Mark. Today, we want to do another topic on. Let's start that again.
No, you're going good. You're going good.
Well, today we wanted to talk about priority. We touched up on it on our last podcast a little bit.
To give a little context, I'm going to a party tonight.
And I'm going to a party as well. And so that's one thing we wanted to talk about is it's the contrast or the battle between leisure versus work. Or work is all of the above, and leisure specifically going out. Because not only our demographic, but also where we live on the Gold Coast, that there's a pretty big party culture. Especially with our age. So we wanted to try to see if, one, what we thought on the issue, and two, if there's different ways or different strategies we can try to balance both. Because it's not like we want to try to say, oh, do one or the other. We're saying that there can be a balance, but maybe a balance isn't necessarily 50-50. That's one thing we want to touch up on, and with all the different stuff that we've read. What do you reckon?
All right. So I guess to begin with,
we have to limit arms.
Yeah. To begin with, I think, well, doing stuff for the first time is an essential, and making mistakes is an essential thing to do to learn.
Right.
And to form your priorities, or have the experience to know your priorities.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're going out every weekend, because you want to forget about your life, it's a form of escapism. It's not very productive.
Yeah. So what we're trying to say is that experiences form our perspective, right? So trying out new things, whether it's going to a party or going to a dinner for the first time or this or that, we think that's essential for growth, right? And it also does change your perspective. And like we say, experience changes perspective, perspective changes thought changes intent, and intent equals action. So again, that's how it flows through. So in order to have those experiences is very essential, because it's just an ongoing cycle of growth.
I touched this on the first vlog, actually. My boy Nietzsche, shout out to Sammy.
Yeah.
He said that the two great European narcotics are alcoholism and Christianity, and in the same sense, or in our context, the problems of modern the depth to which we can escape from our problems is much deeper than back in the 19th century, where you could go drink or pray away your problems.
Yeah.
Now we have clubbing, drugs, Netflix, etc. It goes on and on.
There's so many different. The escapism in our society, it comes in so many different forms, and so many people don't realize that they're indulging in a form of escapism. And a lot of people are addicts, I'd say. There's people who think that they're innocently binging on a TV show on Netflix. That's a form of addiction. As soon as it starts taking away from your other priorities, that's when you start, it starts controlling the way you act in your life. That's when you start crossing into the addiction realm.
Exactly.
So a lot of people think that addiction only comes in the form of drugs or cigarettes or alcohol. It actually does come in heaps of different forms, and with technology coming in, it is playing a bigger part. So the first point that we want to put across is, what's the reason that you're going?
The reason that I'm going. Exactly. Yeah. So my perspective is that I'm going to meet new people. I'm there to work on my social skills, and I'm there to pretty much like a Christian whose purpose is to spread the gospel. I'm there.
I'm the prophet.
No, like I have. and there are also other goals that, like, for the purely kind of really sort my shit out.
I think another point that we want to put across as well is just because you're going out or going to a party or going to a gathering and whatnot doesn't mean you have to drink. We live in such a big alcohol society, and I started drinking when I was 15 in a whole party atmosphere, and I'm sure a lot of people started drinking younger than that. But it just came natural. Like everyone kind of expected it. Other people at school were doing it, so it wasn't such a big transition. When I'm sure in other cultures it might be. But yeah, we just when we as kids when we go to family barbecues, Christmases, Easters, and stuff, predominant like the majority of the parents are drinking some form of alcohol. So it's a kind of an accepted form. And again, a lot of people don't realize when they're crossing into the realm of addiction when it comes to alcohol because it's so accepted.
It passes off as a culturally accepted. Yeah,
cultural norm. Yeah. No, I just grabbed a beer with a mate after work or that type of thing. So yeah, I think because Australians were known for our alcohol consumption. There's definitely blurred lines in our society when it comes to whether or not you're becoming an addict or not. So the first thing we touched up on is why you're going.
Are you going to lose yourself to dull the pain of existence?
Yeah.
Or are you there to have a really good time meeting new people?
Yeah. I mean, in saying good time, a lot of people associate alcohol consumption with good time, with positivity. Yeah. That's why people are always so drawn to it. You know, like you always see those parties and like people in the Facebook chat. It's like, man, I can't wait to get fucked up.
Yeah,
like
can't wait for the weekend.
Yeah. There's that automatic connotation between drinking alcohol and having a blast. Because a lot of people, again, it's a cultural norm for people to have prees before they go out. So then all of a sudden, like you don't have the experiences of not drinking and going out and having a positive time. You don't draw those links in your brain. So that's a big thing that we want to try to put through is why you're going and to make sure that you're not going for other reasons, even though you say it's for this and this and this, when really it's to escape.
Yeah.
So that's another big thing. So I think there can be a balance between a work, leisure lifestyle. And one of the big criterias for me or what I say to myself is that me going out doesn't take away from the more important things in my life, my priorities. So if I have work the next morning, probably not going to go out. If I wake up in the morning and I have my to-do list. I have my goal set out for the day because that's how you, in my opinion, that's how you succeed in life, right? You don't succeed. You don't become successful straight away type thing. You have to win each day. You win enough days in the week. You win that week, you win enough weeks in the month, and that kind of progressive. You win enough years in your life. You have enough successful days. It becomes it's a follow one, and then all of a sudden you start becoming successful in life. So a lot of people don't think that going out the night before takes away from that because they're like, oh, it's only one day. But it's the planning beforehand, takes away times from other things. It's that night, it's the lack of sleep, it's the hangover the next day. So for me, the way I see it, as long as it doesn't take away from my other priorities, and I'm going for the right reasons, not because, I'm going in some form of escapism, then I'm all for it. There's nothing wrong with that.
A good model for a very tight work-leisure balance would be Casey Neistat. He did a video on his whole daily schedule, pretty much.
Yeah.
He wakes up. He's a crazy machine, right?
Yeah, like his work ethic is
it's out of control, but he fits it all in.
Yeah.
What was it? 7 till 10 is his workout time. 10 till 7 p.m. is his work time, doing Beam, vlogging. Then 7 till 10 o'clock is family time. Then 10 o'clock till 1 a.m. is editing and planning emails, etc. And then
And
he wakes
repeats that
up
cycle.
next morning, does emails, run, same thing over and over again. And like the way I see it, you work during the day to connect with people at night. That's the kind of thing I'd like to go for. That's my ideal day. Right. I wake up in the morning, I work out, I'm looking after myself. I've had at least 7 hours sleep. I go to gym, then I do work for 9 hours, and then I can go home and chill if I want with my family, or I can go out and connect with new people. Yeah, and I can fulfill the things that the 4 essential needs that every person needs. Yeah.
So yeah, what we're saying with also with limiting your going out or finding that balance is that we also know that being
a well-rounded individual.
What's the being social and building relationships and networking is essential, if not only for your well-being but also progressing in life, whether it be a career and whatnot. So we know that's also part of the journey. But again, we want to try to make sure that you're doing it for the right intent. So going back into, I think one thing that the main takeaway from that is we think that it's important, if you want to get stuff done, schedule it. Actually have specific times during the day where you want to get the shit done. If you say that you want to go read a book a week, if you don't prioritize it, you're not going to do it. If you don't fully block out from 9 to 10 p.m. every single night, I'm going to read. And the way I see it is always put a time signature on it instead of a effort amount. So instead of saying, I want to read 50 pages, say it's an hour put an hour limit, because if you're really, really tired, reading 50 pages might take you 2 hours instead of when you're fresh, it'll only take you 30 minutes. So I reckon putting a time, it kind of gauges on what effort, how much energy you have, so you don't also overwork or underwork. So, but if you don't put a specific block, if you don't prioritize it, you're not going to get it done. It's why a lot of people don't train, because they don't prioritize it. They say they're going to go train, they leave until the end of the day, and they're like, I'm just going to do it till tomorrow. I have too many things to do, or I'm too tired from work, or this or that. So if you don't prioritize things, if you don't put it in an actual time frame during the day, the chance of you doing it is less and less.
And the higher the priority, the earlier in the day I think it should be.
Yeah, because there's more chance of you actually doing it, and with a fresh mind, with a fresh body, with all this energy.
That's why working out in the morning is
essential.
It's not essential, but like it's a very good thing to do compared to doing it late at night. You're more prone. You're not gonna put as much effort into it.
Yeah, you might skip out on sets because you want to do it in the time limit because you're tired. Yeah. Just when you put things in the morning, there's less chance of other things, coming in the way.
That's why also a lot of people meditate in the morning too. Yeah. Because it's right in the morning. Otherwise, you're gonna be like, I have everything else to do in the day. Yeah. It's one of those things that you don't have to do, but if you do it, you're gonna feel so much better.
Yeah. I think that meditation is essential, and I think Western civilization hasn't put enough importance into it. You see all the all the stuff we're listing right now is exactly what all the successful people do, and they don't do it because they heard it from here and here. They do it because it works. Yeah. We're just learning what they do.
There's a kind of ideology going around with people. It's kind of a low level of cultural appropriation where the Buddhists would practice meditation, therefore it's a Buddhist thing to do, and it's not for me. Whereas you can take things from different cultures and use it, and you're not being disrespectful, you're not being a Buddhist, you're essentially gathering knowledge and finding out what's good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's a reason why they've been doing it for 1,000 years. We were talking about this the other day, how, just because it's a primary teaching in Buddhist belief system, or, Buddhist people, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you can't take that knowledge away from that. It's, disrespecting your religion or your belief system, because it's obvious that it works. That it is. So for us, the main, talking about priorities, this is my main 4 priorities.
In regards to a personal
growth
a personal efficiency. Well, the way I see it, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the way they call it is the PPC thing. P is production and production capability. The PC is like working on yourself.
Right.
And production capability. And the product of the P is the end goal.
Yeah.
And you got to work on yourself to be better at achieving those end goals. So the 4 different factors we're elaborating on this is the mental, so the reading, studying, learning new things, being stimulated mentally, and then the spiritual, so kind of meditation. An Atheist's Guide to Spirituality. I really need to read that by old mate,
my boy.
Yeah, Sam's boy.
So what we're trying to say, for me, there's these 4 things that kind of bring, it makes me grow in a holistic point of view. So I think the first thing is training your body. So exercise in any form.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. You got to find what works for you. Just because your friend is doing, like, going to the gym and they might be doing bodybuilding, so hypertrophy stuff, or there's a friend that does tennis. You got to do what's most enjoyable for you, not what you think will get you a 6-pack quicker.
Also, it's not a factor of I'll go to the gym, I can still eat like shit. It's 80% diet, 20% working out.
Yeah. And the fact that even if your favorite sport is ping pong, it's the fact that you're keeping your body active, which draws on to the second part, which physical training goes into, which also helps, which is training your mind. So everyone's put so much emphasis on training your body. Everyone buys those 6-pack books. Everyone does, clean eating and all that type of jazz, just because it's the fancy way. It just looks better, right? It's the glorified version of what's successful. And then, but you also have to train your mind. So that's reading books, listen to podcasts, watch videos. That's how we listen to a lot of stuff. And also just talking to other people, gaining knowledge through their experiences, and also what they learn from different resources. I think that's really important as well.
Talking about the new ideas that you have learned is also a good way to memorize it yourself. Otherwise, it's just going to go in ear and out the other.
Yeah, well, the best way to learn is to teach.
Yeah.
So, once Albert Einstein said you only fully understand the topic was when you can explain it to a 9-year-old kid, right? So, imagine trying to explain quantum physics to a 9-year-old. I mean, that's a skill in itself. So
quantum physics is the really small particles, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could do that.
So small atoms. So first is training your body. There's training your mind. Then the third one is meditation that we drew up on earlier. Meditation brings clarity. So it brings clarity and peace to your mind and your body. That's why it's kind of almost like a restart, a refresh. We do it in the morning, but I know a lot of people do it throughout the day. It kind of brings, not only does it refresh your body and mind, but it also puts things in perspective again. So then it realigns your goals. Because as we're doing things, I normally reevaluate my goals and where I'm going a couple of times a week. But some people can get distracted really easy, and they might need to reevaluate where they're going every single day. You got to go to where you want. I know there's some people who they do like monthly audits of their goals. So they'll just do something for a whole month, and then they'll go back and like, oh, maybe that wasn't working. That wasn't a waste of a month. That was a trial and error process. And then so they know that they might try something else.
They're learning from their mistakes.
Yeah. So because they can live such busy lives that they only have a month, they just like, all right, I'm just going to pick this one thing. I'm just going to do it regardless if it works or not. And then they might try something else again. So they have like a month-long evaluation. But again, some people might need to do it every single day in order to bring that discipline into their lives. So when you put things in perspectives, like we said, like the 3-year funeral analogy, I think is the perfect one. It kind of cuts out all the bullshit and then makes you narrow down on the things that's really important.
If you ask that question every week or even every day, and just keep on updating that personal kind of mission statement.
Yeah.
you'll be going towards good things.
Yeah, it'll throw away all the bullshit of like, oh, it's Harry made out with Sally and this and that, and my boss hates me and all that type of jazz. You won't, all of a sudden you just won't give a shit, because the only things that you'll care about is things that you need to do in order to go to where, in your success, which is, again, is different for everyone, but again, it'll bring that perspective. So that's the third thing, and I think the fourth thing that's really important is follow your passion. So if you have the opportunity, like what we're trying to do, and make your passion your career, then I think that's the best way to go. As Alan Watts says, a lot of people don't know where to find, like, what direction they want to go in, and he says, if money wasn't an object, what would you do? And whatever comes to your mind, you go do that. Because again, it's like when you're having fun, you won't be working.
Your career is your life's work.
Yeah. It's what you're passing down through the generations. It's what you're giving back to the world. So, I mean, at the same time, if you aren't fortunate enough, or you've taken a different route where your passion is in your career, I think it's still important to do that. So even if you're
work towards it. Like, wake up early in the morning, write that book. Yeah. That you've always wanted to write, and then go to work and work in your restaurant job.
Yeah, I think the best comparisons is a lot of people think that becoming a lot of people are creative, but they think that their creative passion or their creative skill isn't sustainable enough in terms of income. So they'll go like a safe white collar route. So you might be an accountant, but in your heart you're a painter. Even though you might not make painting your actual income or your actual career, it's still important that you paint. It's still important that you draw. It's still important that you play the guitar. Otherwise, you will resent yourself for not doing it. I think it's really important that I'm not a massive believer in God-given talents and stuff, but in order to bring yourself fulfillment, you need to start ticking off your passion or passions, and coinciding that with your career if it's different. So I think that's the four main priorities of what I base my life around. So, yeah. If you want to have anything to add from that?
Dope. Yeah, I was just thinking about, we were referring to people who are in a rough spot in regards to financial security, and so they can't work towards their lifelong goals.
Yeah. Or they feel like it won't bring them financial stability in the long run.
Yeah. Right? Or like that comes later. Yeah. I feel, but like being in a financially stable situation where you are in a space to go do the things you want to do is the first priority. Yeah. So in doing that, you'd be like, oh yeah, still my work's so bad, blah blah blah. It comes from a perspective change. Yeah. Everything you do, every action is a choice. Yeah. Not because of an emotion that you are overcome with or because of someone else. It was, you made that choice. For example, if you're in a lecture hall and you had to tell the lecturer that, oh, I'm sorry, I have to go. Yeah. I'm really, really sorry. And that's your choice because you're prioritizing whatever else you have to go to.
Yeah. So you're not apologizing that you're doing it. You're apologizing of something else or a consequence that might happen because of it.
Yeah. And you're choosing to go to baseball practice instead of...
Or watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Which is totally acceptable.
We're both approved.
Yeah. If anyone's super excited for the new Game of Thrones Season 7, please give us a thumbs up. We are super duper excited. We cannot wait. 5 weeks to go. It's going to be
If you were a Game of Thrones character, who would you be?
Yeah, who would you be and why? Who do you
I'm telling you, I don't care about them. No, I'm joking.
I'd be... Well, I mean, Jon Snow has his flaws, but I think he's Azor Ahai. I think he is the Song of Ice and Fire. He's literally ice and fire. And he will find Dawn, the Valyrian steel sword that Arthur Dayne used to wield, in the crypts of his mother.
Yeah, but and
that will be the flaming sword.
I don't want to... This isn't a Game of Thrones podcast, but yeah, let's just...
We can do a Game of Thrones podcast. This is the only thing I've been to, so I'm usually not a nerdy type. in terms of like Star Wars or Pokemon or all that type of jazz. I've never really been into it, but Game of Thrones, I've been so into. Ever since Ned Stark died, I knew that it wasn't a normal show. I knew when they killed the main protagonist that this is not your everyday show. So, quick little side note about Game of Thrones.
No.
What?
This isn't a Game of Thrones podcast.
I know, that's why I said that was a little side note. I was going to
I thought you were going on
another tangent.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Give us a like, subscribe, and peace. Have a good time. Follow us on our social media if you haven't already. We post heaps. And tell us what you think about this format and what we can improve on. We really appreciate the criticism and to find out our personal style and to see what works. So live a fulfilling life. Peace.